My female 22, husband 24, ghosted me after getting married last night. We've never fought or anything, and I've never seen him act like this before or anything similar. We've been dating for 3 years, but we've known each other much longer, going back to our high school days, and I've never seen him this bothered or anything, and he hasn't even been responding to any of my messages today. The wedding was smaller because of global situation, and we had it in his parents' backyard, and a small reception afterward, but he was furious. He wouldn't talk to me after coming home, and he just ignored me. He wasn't angry at me, but instead his parents, and a video they arranged to be shown at the reception of some of his younger moments and stuff that they thought was funny, but he felt it was embarrassing. He didn't tell me what specifically made him really upset in the video. Still, the video showed old videos of him with friends he didn't talk to anymore, or had some sort of falling out with. That's all that he told me. And awkward moments of him playing sports or getting pranked by his brothers or taking a bath and other things that just made him miserable. I think it was wrong to show anything without showing us. But the reception was at their house and they played the video during it, and in no way am I angry with him or how he feels. I don't know if the video or past things showed reminded him of some trauma from the past that he didn't tell me about, but I feel like they ruined his mood for the rest of the reception and the night and even today at our home. He left in the morning and hasn't returned any of my calls, and he didn't even want to talk about it last night and just ignored me and barely even spoke to me. And he just went to bed and said he was leaving in the morning, but I haven't heard from him, and I don't know how to help him when he was crying and unlike himself last night. I am not in any way upset or angry at him, but rather alongside him at his family for showing a video that was never discussed beforehand as a prank that just ruined his mood for the rest of the night and destroyed the rest of our evening when we got home, including today, as he's left without telling me where. We aren't taking a honeymoon at the moment until later in the summer. Still, I called my parents today because I just feel lonely and just watched TV and ordered food while waiting for him to respond, and I don't know how to help him without making him angrier. I want to help him and for him to hopefully open up to me, but if anyone knows the right way to approach it with him, I'd really appreciate any advice because I don't know what to do right now and how to help him when he doesn't want to talk about it. Wow, yeah, I'm not exactly sure what to say. Are you to use like find my friend or something like that, just for safety's sake? Or maybe call the police, check the bank account if joint, to see if there have been any purchases. By the way, it's super bad of him to do this to you when you didn't do anything. Something terrible has happened here, way more than what I think you can see, and the fact that you can't reach his parents or him could mean that some kind of altercation has happened. Be careful. Him crying himself to sleep over a prank video? Acting that strange? Something for sure is happening, and I think those videos might symbolize something else. If you trust the police in your area, ask them to do a wellness check on him or the parents to see if they can find them. And if he doesn't show up by tomorrow, remember that you can report him missing. What grown man abandons his wife the day after the wedding just because he got embarrassed? His behavior is atrocious. My guess is that's what it is. He might have never planned on telling you. Also possible that it triggered repressed memories if it's related to traumatic experiences. But this is just a guess because it sounds like that's what it might be. Update. I have called his family and none of them have responded. I have also had my parents call and they haven't responded to them either. I sent him a text that was a bit more detailed and saying that I love you and that I'm here whenever he wants to talk, but also that I'm worried and that I need him to get back to me. And now I'm going to head over to his parents, and I think he's there because of how he reacted to the video on top of how they're ignoring our calls. And if he's not there, I'll likely call the police, as others have said. This is really out of character for him. I'll be sure to let him know how much it hurt me and that we can't have lapses in contact going forward ever again because it's worrisome and can't ever happen again while trying to be there at the same time in case the video showed something traumatic. However, the point would still remain and need an apology. I shouldn't have to be on the phone with my parents for most of the day because I'm lonely after getting married yesterday. And I'll let him know that this can't ever happen again and how much it hurt, and that he needs to explain somewhat and apologize. So I know this is really stupid, but some of my friends told me that I'm in the wrong here. To get started, here's our cast. Me, female 38, Neighbor, female 32, my husband 39, 2 little boys, and my little girl. My neighbor moved in not too long ago with her 2 sons. Seeing that she had a lot of unpacking to do, I went over to her house and offered to babysit her kids for her. She thanked me and walked her kids over to my house. I kept some of my son's toys from when he was younger. He has moved out already, and set them up in my yard. My daughter is fairly extroverted and immediately went outside to play with them. It was around noon at that time, so I started to make lunch. I made some turkey sandwiches with American cheese, a simple lunch that we always have. I brought out some plates so that the kids could eat outside on our benches. The kids loved it, and 30 minutes later, the sandwiches were gone, and they were back to playing soccer and tag. A few hours later, the neighbor's kid and my child marched inside and sat down, tired. I put on some cartoons and told them I would be right back as I left to go get the neighbor to pick up her children. She looked tired, but was happy that she didn't have to deal with little boys running around while she unpacked. She came over and took her boys. By this time, my husband was parking in our driveway, home from work. My daughter had a fun time telling her father all about her day while I ordered pizza on my phone. About 5 minutes later, while I was still asking what everyone wanted, I hear a knock on my door. It was the neighbor. I thought she was going to thank me again, but she got angry and shouted at me. The following is some basic dialogue from what I can remember, though this did happen a few weeks ago. Me: "Oh, hey, neighbor." Neighbor: "Look, we need to talk right now." Me: "Oh, sure. What do you need?" Neighbor: "Well, my sons told me that you gave them sandwiches for lunch." Me: "Yes, I did. They really like—" Neighbor: "Well, that is not enough for my boys. They're growing boys and they need to have good food and not whatever you gave them." Me: "Really?" Neighbor: "Yes." Me: "No." And I shut the door in her face. My daughter didn't really hear any of our conversation, but she asked me. I just told her that the neighbor didn't like sandwiches. She didn't bother to ask further and watched some shows in her room. My husband just laughed and so did I. The lady got mad that I fed food to her sons for free, right? But as it turns out, 3 of my close friends told me that I was rude and I should have just given them something better. We had mashed potatoes and some leftover pork that wouldn't take more than 29 minutes to heat up and serve. But I didn't feel like giving them that. I don't see the problem with what I did, but I trust my friends and I want to know if I should apologize. So am I the idiot? Not the idiot. I feel like an absurd number of people ate a turkey sandwich for lunch today, and they're probably going to continue with their lives happily. No good deed goes unpunished, I guess. Hope she doesn't ever need a neighbor to babysit in a jam. You are not wrong. I thought the issue was going to be allergy or religion related. I do think you should have confirmed with your neighbor about food, because that easily could have become a disaster. That being said, I don't know why a turkey sandwich is bad, or why your neighbor and friends think they needed something better. I think if you have children with food allergies, and you drop them off with a brand new neighbor you've never even met before you can unpack, you absolutely should be telling this person about your children's allergies, not expecting them to come back and ask what's okay to serve for lunch. If that were me and she said, "They're growing boys, they need to have good food," I just would have said, "Then you probably should get back there and feed them then." That's honestly just ridiculous, and I'm really surprised your friends disagree with you. You are not the idiot. Seriously, who complains about free babysitting along with free food? If the neighbor were a normal person, she'd invite the OP's family over for a nice brunch when she settled in. I have been divorced from my ex for about 2 years. We have a teenage daughter together. Due to my bad financial situation, my ex had full custody, and I was granted 1 night a month of visitation rights. A few months after the divorce, my grandparents passed away, and I inherited their house along with a good amount of money. Thanks to this, I was able to get back on my feet. Now I make a decent income. I am living in the inherited house, 3-bed, 3.5 bath, good backyard space. One of the bedrooms is mine, and one of the other ones I kept as a room for my daughter. Since she was only over once a month, I did not decorate it too much. My ex sadly passed away 4 months ago, so my daughter moved in with me. Her room was very plain, so I let her decorate it as a fun welcome home activity. I gave her a budget of $1,000. She decorated her room with a very wooden, rustic style, not something I would choose for myself, but okay. So she has recently gotten obsessed with the app TikTok, and a few days ago came to me wanting to decorate her room like a TikTok bedroom. I looked it up, and I'm very against it since it would easily cost over $4,000. While I can afford it if I cut down on other luxuries for a month or two, I don't want to throw away that much money on a room that was just recently decorated. I told my daughter that if she wanted to decorate, she could use her own money and that I would not pay. She got angry with me and has not talked to me since. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Your money is yours, and you're doing a good job of teaching your daughter that she can't expect to always get what she wants. Redecorating a room, one that she has already chose, when everything is brand new is wasteful, and you risk turning her into a spoilt and entitled adult. If she wants to pay, then fine, but you don't pay. Not the idiot. But why does it cost $4,000? What on earth does she want? Because I'm sure not every TikTok kid can afford that much on a bedroom. You could probably do it for so much cheaper. I looked up a TikTok bedroom, and I still have no idea what it means, LOL. Not the idiot here, but as a bridge building, ask her what would be involved, see how much it cost, and if you can find cheaper alternatives, repurpose things, etc. You can't get branded, overpriced junk, but with some decent paint, etc., no one on TikTok will notice that it isn't the real deal. The video quality is mediocre from what I've seen. You are the idiot for realizing your daughter lost her father 4 months ago and is basically acting out to get attention. While setting up financial boundaries is good parenting, not realizing that your daughter is getting that attention from TikTokers is a bad thing. I, 28 male, will be getting married next year. We will be holding a pretty grand wedding with over 100 people. My best friend is Tara. She is blind, has been blind since she moved into my neighborhood. She has a support dog who she uses and is very independent. My fiance and her parents are allergic to dogs. Her cousins and uncles were not willing and able to come because they are deathly allergic to dogs. Seems like her cousins can get hives, and he's an integral part of the wedding planning. My fiance doesn't want the dog to be allowed at the wedding because this is her special day, and she should be able to choose who comes and who goes to the wedding. The dog is also not hyperallergenic and has a lot of fur, which would most likely worsen the problem. My fiance and her parents won't budge, and everyone agrees with it. This dog is a certified service dog and is well trained, but it can't control its dander. And if I'm being honest, this day belongs to my fiance, and she should be 100%. I told my best friend that she could come, but no dog. We would escort her through the party, and she could just stay for the ceremony, and we would escort her away. She was distraught and threw a massive fit, and even cried at the end. She doesn't have many friends and was really looking forward to my wedding, but now couldn't attend. She called my wife an ableist, and that taking tablets wouldn't hurt her. I agree, but many of her family have this problem, and it's quite frankly more of a hassle to make everyone take medication than have her escorted. Also, I think the bride has a lot more say than a guest. She is still very hysterical and is blaming my fiance. She called me an idiot for supporting my fiance and abandoning her. I understand it's tough, and independence is very important, but she is not compromising, so she cannot attend. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Your friend sounds entitled, and immediately calling people ableist is just a low blow. Also, taking tablets would not hurt her. How does she know? Does she know what it's like to take those tablets and then go into a high trigger environment? In my experience, it feels like your whole face is stuffed with cotton, and it's incredibly uncomfortable. As a side note, as a bride, I wouldn't want a red runny nose and itchy watery eyes on my wedding day either. I mean, I worked hard to save the money for my wedding so we could pay cash for everything. If I spent that much on my dress, makeup, hair, and jewelry, and a photographer, yeah, I wouldn't want any allergy symptoms that day. Not the idiot. She called me an idiot for supporting my fiance and abandoning her? Isn't the whole point of a wedding two people choosing each other thoroughly? I'm pretty sure that includes choosing to find alternatives that won't leave one of the parties involved drowsy with allergies acting up on their special day. You and your fiance are the people of the hour, not your friend. It makes me wonder if this conflict between the fiance and Tara is not just about the guide dog. I can't help wondering if the issue here is that she just doesn't want this particular guest and has chosen a reason that is hard to argue with. If it were a person she wanted there, it seems like accommodating Tara might be possible. If the venue is large enough for 100 plus people, it seems it should be possible to have Tara seated far away from the allergy-prone family members to avoid contact. Tara's comment about abandoning her in favor of the new wife indicates that maybe this is not a healthy friendship. If Tara would absolutely expect OP to be attentive to her needs and guilt OP into placing her feelings first, which would be absolutely inappropriate, it could be that the fiancé doesn't want her groom to spend his wedding day attending to Tara. Not the idiot, but maybe OP and fiancé need a heart-to-heart about his relationship with Tara and his priorities. It sounds like OP is correctly putting his fiancé first, but perhaps it hasn't always been that way. Backstory: me, male 37, and my ex-wife 37, got married right out of high school when she got pregnant with our twins, Eli 19 and Jamie 19. We got divorced about 4 years after the kids were born because I realized that I'm gay. My ex, Katie, from this point forward, was surprisingly my biggest supporter. She told me that during the last couple years of our marriage, she felt like we were just good friends and not partners. 3 years ago, Katie got remarried to Joe. I was her best man, and to this day, she is still my best friend. I eat dinner at her house every week with her, my sons, her husband, and their 7-month-old daughter. So anyway, a few weeks ago, Katie's mother, who lives in Ireland, fell down a flight of stairs and had to have her hip replaced. She doesn't have any family in Ireland, and she needs someone to help her out after the surgery. Katie was planning to go down there alone and take care of her for the next month or so. But last week, Katie somehow broke her ankle, and she doesn't feel comfortable traveling alone. Plus, she has to bring the baby because of some health issues I don't completely understand. She asked me to go with her, since I can pretty much do my job from anywhere with the internet. I agreed, but later that night while we were all at dinner, I asked Joe if he was coming too. He said no, and I asked why. He said he has a night out with friends on one of the days we would be gone. I thought it was a little strange, but I let it go. After dinner, the kids were all upstairs. Joe came to me and told me not to go with Katie to her mom's place. I asked why, and he said that he just wasn't comfortable with Katie spending so much time alone with her ex. I reminded him that I'm very much gay, and he said that he didn't believe that since he's never seen me date a man. I said that I didn't have to go if he went, but he said he couldn't do that. I made some excuse about needing to go, but before I left, I told Katie about what he said. He called me later to tell me that I sparked a fight between him and Katie, and that I had no business butting into his marriage. I said that he caused the fight by being an idiot and hung up. I still fully intend to go to Ireland with Katie, but am I the idiot for saying that to him? Not the idiot. He wants his wife to travel internationally with an infant and a broken ankle alone because he needs a boys' night and doesn't trust that you're gay? He is such an idiot, and I wouldn't be surprised if the issue with the baby is just that he can't handle taking care of her. I bet the night with the boys is a night with someone else. Someone who is saying things like, "I can't believe you choose your wife over me when we had plans," and he wants to use her trip as alone time with that someone. With OP being a regular guest and best friend, if none of that made him feel jealous, why with this trip? Maybe he's worried that with that alone time, Katie might open up about some suspicions he's having, and she and OP will figure out what's going on with crappy hubby, or at least have more suspicions. Not the idiot. You didn't cause a fight. He did, by going behind her back to ask you not to help her. She's your best friend and the mother of your children. There's absolutely nothing wrong with you stepping up to help her, especially when he knows he's making the wrong choice by staying to have fun with his friends instead of supporting his injured wife and her mother.